Okay, so we've had so many questions on our channel. People writing in asking, why did you get the third full spectrum heater? How hot does it get? Is it worth it? Well, we actually tested 3 different ways with this, and I'm gonna jump right in.
Graham's on a road trip.
All right, so before I jump in and I start talking to you about the 3 ways that we tested this sauna, what I want you to do is actually jump over and watch our video. And basically it's on a tour of the Clearlight Sanctuary 2 sauna. Check that out because that's gonna make a whole lot more sense as I go through this. So I'm sure you've been out there looking at far infrared saunas, and there's a whole gamut of different options out there. Things full spectrum, far infrared, near infrared, blankets, all kinds of stuff out there. And it seems like there's more coming out every single day. The cool thing about Clearlight is they actually have these things they call full spectrum heaters. They're on the front of the sauna. You will hear some people online say, hey, it's not a big deal. They don't like it. Some do. Like, I love it. And the cool thing about these is that it puts off more heat. And the question we always get is, well, how much more heat does it put off? So there's 3 things that we tested. One was, how does a sauna heat up without the front heaters on, with no full spectrum heaters on the front? The second way is testing how hot does it get with just 2 of the heaters on, and that's just basically the ones that come with it. So that was the second test. Third test is actually adding the 3rd full spectrum heater. That is a question we get a lot. People are always wanting to know, well, does it make an impact? Why did you get it? How much more heat does it provide? So that's the 3rd test. But I actually came up with some cool results that I'll go over with you. But first, I want to tell you, why did we get this sauna? Because that's the other question that we get. So everyone always says, why did you get a traditional sauna as opposed to going with a far infrared sauna? Well, to be honest, we didn't start off on the idea of a far infrared sauna. We started off with the idea of a traditional sauna. I grew up using traditional saunas. I was a wrestler, so I was using saunas. And that was all I ever knew. And then, of course, when the Joe Rogan and Rhonda Patrick podcast came out, which I know everybody's watched, if you're into saunas at all, you've heard that podcast or watched it. She talked about a ton of really cool scientific studies they did out of Finland with traditional saunas, and so of course that just solidified the idea of traditional sauna. However, as we were remodeling our bathroom, pulled out the soaker tub, figured out it wasn't going to fit, then we started looking outside. And then of course as you're studying, you come across infrared saunas. The way we came across the Clearlight one was actually a few ways. First thing is we like the look of it. So like I mentioned earlier, if you haven't jumped over and watched a tour of this video, or the sauna, you're going to want to do that because that's going to actually explain some of this a little bit. But the Clearlight sauna, this one in particular, has got a bunch of glass around it, which I think looks really cool. And then the second thing is it fit. That was important to us too because it had to fit in that spot. And then the third thing is I know it's a high quality sauna. It's well built, so I know it was going to heat up well. But I like the idea of the full spectrum heaters that Clearlight offers on their units here. So I'm not saying other saunas don't do that, but putting the whole package together, that's what really appealed to me because I'm going, if we have extra heat in this, cool, right? Heat shock proteins, all that kind of stuff you're trying to get. So in the midst of that, I've actually learned a lot about these things. And I've learned a lot about this sauna in particular. I've been using it for over a year. I've learned a lot about the upgrades we did and how it's working, especially after this amount of time. So, and I'll go over that a little bit more with you, but I kind of hinted on heat shock proteins, and I will tell you, I got that question the other day. Somebody was talking about the science, and he wanted a traditional sauna because of the heat shock proteins. And I'm not going to go a lot into that. I'm not a doctor. I encourage you to look it up. But there's some really cool studies out there, too, with Wei-on therapy out of Japan, where they're using far infrared saunas to treat people. The other thing is, too, if you're looking for a sauna because of heat shock proteins, you got to look a little bit deeper than that as well, because your body makes heat shock proteins for a ton of different reasons. One big one is exercise. In fact, your body releases heat shock protein 72 when you're exercising and uptakes it when you're done exercising. The other thing is fasting. And basically what it really comes down to is if you're stressing your body...
But golf yourself, Dave. You're looking a little stressed out.
Your body's going to make heat shock protein. So keep that in mind. If you're out there searching for the sauna, definitely check into that, because if that's kind of where you're leaning, and quite honestly, that was something I thought about as well, you're going to want to do your research on that. So now into the main event, the whole reason you watch this video. Basically, what did the test results show? So what I did is to reiterate, is I broke it down into 3 tests. First test is I just did just plain Jane out of the box, far infrared panels on, and that's it. Second test was basically the stock Clearlight Sanctuary 2 sauna that we have with the 2 heaters on, and that's it. So you have the third test, which is actually the one that we get a lot of questions on, is, you know, if I upgrade to the 3rd full spectrum heater, what's it going to do for me? Is it worth it? Is it going to heat up the sauna enough? Is it going to heat me up enough? All that kind of good stuff. So that was actually the 3rd test that we did, and I'll kind of show you the differences here and where we started off. So kind of tell you how I structured this test first, and it was a lot of work because I wanted the sauna to start out at 81 degrees on each test, and there was a certain time of the day in our bathroom where the sauna was 81 degrees on the inside. So that was tough. In the morning it wasn't, middle of the day it wasn't, so it was actually in the evening at a certain time where I had to run this test each time, but I wanted it to be as close as possible. I also did each test at 45 minutes runtime, just to try to keep everything consistent. So first, before I jump in though, I will tell you, but the number one thing is going to be your sauna placement in your house. Second thing is the size of your sauna. If you get a huge sauna, right, that's going to take a little bit longer as well. That's going to change your numbers. This is strictly a 2-person sauna, so if you've got a 2-person or maybe even around there, you might be able to get an idea. Turning on the sauna, no front heaters, starting at 81 degrees with just the far infrared panels on. Now, that's most saunas on the market. I mean, most of them are going to be just that way. With the far infrared panels on, at 45-minute mark, it was at 123 degrees. Not bad. For some people, that's good. Some people, you'll feel comfortable with that, and that's perfectly fine. In fact, there's a lot of health benefits that they say come out at around the 120 degree mark as opposed to the hot temperatures as well. So some people like it a little bit lower. But that's the first test. Second test is with just 2 full spectrum heaters on. Both them heaters on by themselves, no upgrades, starting at 81 degrees. At 45 minutes, the sauna was at about 148 degrees. And I'll hopefully I can show that temperature in here. It kind of fluctuates 150, 148, so I'm going off the 148 mark. So 148 degrees, so about a 25 degree jump approximately, just from going with the panels to the front heaters on as well. The reason why we upgraded to the 3rd heater is we wanted to up that temperature just a little bit more. And there's all sorts of hacks you can do to your sauna, but the 3rd heater is actually one of the easy ones. It goes right on your front door and it plugs right into an outlet at the bottom. So that test actually jumped again, starting at 81 degrees, 45 minutes, ended at 162 degrees. Now in the video I think it might show 160, but it was actually 162. It was actually fluctuating a little bit higher as well, but I went with 162. So there is a jump. Now I will tell you, with that 3rd heater in there, I've actually gotten the sauna to 175. That was actually my record. And so of course some factors change that, like as far as how hot the start time of the sauna was, all that kind of stuff, but 175 was cooking. The other thing I will tell you too is, when you're looking at saunas, one cool thing about Clearlight, it is a well-built sauna. And I'm not saying other saunas aren't, but you got to do your homework, because there's some saunas you can buy in big box stores, and I've even talked to people and family members that are going, oh, I can get such a great deal on this other sauna, and it's going to be fantastic. And you really got to do your homework. The thing about Clearlight is it's also built really well. So when you're talking about how hot do I want my sauna to get, well, you know, if you're in a cardboard box, it's not going to hold heat as well.
It's cardboard. There's nothing.
So even after a year, this thing is still plugging right along. I mean, it's a workhorse. And I typically use this about 3 times a week. Typically about 25 to 30 minutes, somewhere in that ballpark. Every single time I use it, I've got the 3rd full spectrum heater on, and you can actually adjust it on a keypad inside of there how much power you actually want to come out of the heaters as well. So you can go from like 25 up to 100% increments. I just always have it at 100% because I'm like, I want it hot. So that's how I do it. But the cool thing is, though, is if you're going, I don't want it that hot, but I want it a little bit hotter than the 123 degree mark, maybe I want it around that 150, then you don't need the 3rd full spectrum heater then. So it's just something to keep in mind. But if you're going, you know what, I like the idea of the far infrared sauna. I don't know for sure, but I'm leaning that way.
There's just so many options.
Then I'll tell you what, if you've got more questions, one thing you can do is you can jump over and watch our other videos. We actually have a playlist called the Sauna Playlist. We've got all sorts of things, and they're just little things that we've tested on this, just tips and stuff on using this type of sauna. The other thing is if you do feel like that you want to go with one of these types of saunas and you have some more questions on buying it or where to go, there's a lady named Julie Bishop, and I'll put her contact information in our video here, but she's been treating our viewers really good. We get people all the time. We just had a guy today going, oh, I want to buy one of them saunas. That thing's fantastic. Well, there's a lot of scams, and unfortunately, you know that if you bought things on the internet. I mean, some are legit, some aren't, right? So I recommend reach out to somebody reputable. Julie's been great for our viewers, and she can answer your questions, lead you in the right direction, you know, even tell you if what she recommends for a size of sauna for your house or room or wherever you're putting it. So do me a favor. If this video was helpful for you, give us a thumbs up. We'd really appreciate that. Also, give us some comments. We had one guy that left a comment one time on how he upped the heat even more with some adjustments and stuff. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So definitely leave the comments. We appreciate that. And if you're into saunas, you're into travel, reviewing products, that's really what our channel is all about. So if that's the kind of stuff you're into, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Really appreciate that. And thank you so much for watching.
Hey guys, this is the end of the video. Make sure that you like and subscribe for more great content that is ready to come. Peace out.